So, what was I trying to show you yesterday? One thing I wanted to do on this particular trip was to recreate two of my favourite photos from my first trip 21 years ago. We're now riding the wicked west coast, which means glorious endless corners. The stretch of road between Queenstown and Strahan isn't very far, but it's filled with non-stop corners and yet another brilliant road. You know, I've got to tell you, I'm getting over all these corners. Said no motorcyclist ever. And this brings us to the last highlight of the trip, and dare I say it, the most awesome as well. As they say, we've saved the best for last. So, welcome to the west coast of Tassie. Now, speaking of the coast, you can't come to Tassie or Australia for that matter without visiting the beach. The water might not be the best, but I do have my board shorts on. However, we're certainly not here to go for a swim. This is going to be awesome. Right, first up, let's lose some weight. Let's take some of this gear off first. Wow, Ocean Beach, it really must be made for motorcycles because you can see the sand's pretty good actually, it's pretty firm. And not to mention, there's lots of all these little rocks on the beach so you can put your side stand on there without the bike falling over, which is just awesome. Whoever came up with that idea, good work. Okay, now here's a bit of a tip for riding on the beach. Sunscreen. Yeah, you don't want to get sunburn in places that you're going to regret later on. Lather up. How am I looking? The fun continues along another spectacular winding road to a town in the northwest tip of Tassie called Stanley. It's known for its fluffy locals, fairy penguins. Whilst there aren't any to be seen at this time of the day, it's pretty hard to miss the main attraction, the nut. Today is the last day of the trip riding to Devonport, but first let's look back at this Tasmanian treat. And after all that awesomeness and fun, it brings us back here to where we started just over a week ago, and back to the question at the start of the show. Have you ever been somewhere that when you got back you said, let's do it again, yet you've never been back? Yes, life, a job, and simply being a grown-up gets in the way. But don't let 10, 20, or however many years pass you by from that motorcycle trip that you've always wanted to go on. It doesn't have to be a round the world adventure. It doesn't matter if it's 1,000 kilometres or 100,000 kilometres. The most important thing is there's no better time than right now. Ride safe, and I'll see you somewhere out in the Great Australia.